World War II left entire continents in ruins and claimed tens of millions of lives. But this immense physical destruction has a surprisingly bureaucratic origin. The fuse was lit in 1919 by officials sitting around a table, signing a single piece of paper. That paper was the Treaty of Versailles. Inside it was a devastating provision known as the War Guilt Clause. It forced Germany to accept total financial responsibility for all losses in World War I, slapping the country with a staggering penalty of $33 billion. To pay off this impossible debt, the German government printed more money. This triggered rapid hyperinflation, a scenario where a country's currency loses its value almost daily. This chart illustrates the terrifying speed of that inflation. In 1922, a single loaf of bread cost 160 German marks. By the following year, the cost of that exact same loaf spikes to 200 billion marks. Behind the math was a brutal human reality. The German economy collapsed. Millions lost their life savings overnight. Unemployment surged, and families were left starving on the streets. Total economic devastation creates a dangerous political vacuum. A terrified, hungry population becomes highly vulnerable to anyone who steps up and promises a return to national glory. Adolf Hitler recognized this vulnerability. He capitalized on the public's deep sense of national humiliation, using energetic speeches to rapidly build a massive political following. He utilized a specific psychological tactic, the Judeo-Bolshevism conspiracy theory. With full control of the state, he began working toward his ultimate ideological goal, building a racially pure German empire. To sustain his vision, he needed Lebensraum, living space, which required conquering neighboring territories. Hitler successfully channeled the nation's economic anxiety into weaponized hatred, retooling a broken country into an engine for aggressive expansion. Hitler's first major move was an open violation of the Treaty of Versailles. He secretly ordered the rebuilding of the German military and established an independent air force. By 1938, his military was ready. Hitler set his sights on neighboring Austria. Using political infiltration and weaponized fake news to manipulate the public, he annexed the country without shedding a single drop of blood. The international community watched this happen. British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain operated under a strict policy of appeasement. He believed that if the Allies gave Hitler what he wanted, the dictator would eventually calm down, preventing a global war. This policy peaked in September 1938 with the Munich Agreement. The Allies surrendered a massive region of Czechoslovakia, the Sudetenland, to Germany, in exchange for Hitler's simple promise to stop invading countries. Diplomatic appeasement did not satisfy the dictator's hunger. It merely proved to him that the international community was too terrified to stop him. Knowing the Allies were hesitant to fight, Hitler looked towards Poland. To ensure a smooth invasion, he signed a deceptive non-aggression pact with his ideological enemy, the Soviet Union, quietly agreeing to divide Poland between them. On September 1, 1939, nearly 1 million German troops stormed the border into Poland. This aggressive action finally exhausted the patience of Britain and France, forcing them to officially declare war. While Britain and France formally entered the conflict, they provided no physical assistance to their ally. During this phony war, the Allies issued declarations but failed to mobilize a single division to help Poland. Left alone, Poland faced Germany's revolutionary new doctrine, Blitzkrieg, or lightning war. This strategy relied on speed and stealth, combining rapid mechanized tank assaults on the ground with overwhelming continuous bombardment from the air. The speed of this offense relied on a biological advantage. To eliminate the need for sleep, German soldiers were heavily dosed with a drug called Pervitin, which today we know as crystal meth. The soldiers fought day and night without stopping. Poland fell in a matter of weeks. Their collapse proved that traditional defensive warfare was obsolete against this new, chemically fueled military machine. After securing the east, Hitler pivoted west. In early 1940, he used the exact same blitzkrieg tactics to rapidly sweep through both Denmark and Norway. France knew they were next. Their primary defense was the Maginot Line, a massive concrete border fortification packed with artillery and troops, designed to be impenetrable. Instead of attacking directly, the German army hooked around the wall. They pushed 40,000 military vehicles through the Ardennes forest, thought too dense for tanks. The maneuver worked. German forces trapped the Allied armies from behind, compressing them into a tiny pocket at Dunkirk. Resting on the security of a massive, static wall is a fatal mistake against an enemy willing to rewrite the rules of geography and engagement. Facing total annihilation, the Allies launched Operation Dynamo. Through a desperate miracle involving military ships and civilian fishing boats, 350,000 stranded troops were evacuated across the sea to safety. While the men survived, the territory did not. With its army outmaneuvered and depleted, France formally surrendered to Germany in June 1940. By the summer of 1940, Western Europe was conquered. The Soviets had a peace pact with Germany, and America was standing back in isolation. Britain stood completely alone against the Nazi war machine. Ignoring the economic devastation of a defeated nation and appeasing a tyrant didn't prevent a war. It only ensured that when the conflict arrived, the enemy was already unstoppable.